Midweek mayhem in USL League One earned that title for a reason. Let's see if any is in store for us tonight between Chattanooga and Greenville, brought to you by Blue Choice Health Plan of South Carolina. Welcome one and all to this broadcast on ESPN+. My name is Mark Schoenster, and to my right is Ross Davenport. We welcome you in as we take a look at the League One standings, brought to you by Hopkins Eye Center. Chattanooga sitting in the dregs. Meanwhile, Greenville trying to stave off one Knoxville as of right now in that final playoff spot.
Yeah, Chattanooga need wins and quickly if they're going to mount any serious run at the playoffs. But Greenville, a win tonight would move them 5 points above Knoxville with a game in hand. Those top six moving away a little bit, Mark, perhaps.
A couple of encroaching players trying to catch up with the Triumph, but in means of this game, last time these two teams met, 4 goals were scored by Liam McKinnon. First time and only time in League One history. It was truly a spectacle.
Yeah, if people didn't know how to pronounce this young man's first name before that game, they certainly did afterwards. 4 goals, as you mentioned. However, in the next game, he injured his hamstring, missed the next 3 games, but then did score in his first start back a couple of Saturdays ago, but looking to add to his 7 goals on the season tonight.
He'll be looking to score some goals for the Greenville Triumph. Meanwhile, Mario Slomis knows how to score goals for the Greenville Triumph, but now he's going to have to learn how to score goals against them. 5th start of the season for the Chattanooga Red Wolves, looking for his first goal in new colors, but he's capable of scoring these goals. John Harksides knows that.
Yeah, the 28-year-old, 15 goals he mentioned in 2 years ago. Didn't stick around for a second season, but he's a true center forward, a good poacher, and can finish as well.
We'll see if either of these talented goal scorers get on the sheet tonight. Records were set last time these two teams met. We don't need records to be broken for us to have an entertaining one, but we welcome the opportunity for it. 90 minutes of action are incoming on ESPN+. We'll see you on the other side of the break with it.
I drink and drive all the time.
Sir, you've been in a serious crash. I need you to hang on, okay?
What's your name? So you know where you are right now? I drink and drive all the time.
Sir, you've been in a serious crash. I need you to hang on, okay?
What's your name? So you know where you are right now?
At Piedmont Natural Gas, being a part of the communities we serve is important to us, because to us, community begins with you. We strive to address the needs of our communities by investing time and resources to help improve the quality of life for our customers. For over 60 years, we have funded programs that support education, the environment, and community impact. Our Energy Assistance Program, Share the Warmth, helps customers pay their energy bills. We're committed to helping our neighbors by powering the vitality of our communities.
Today's USL League One broadcast is presented by Blue Choice Health Plan of South Carolina, proud partner of the Greenville Triumph. As we welcome you back to Paladin Stadium, the two teams proceeding onto the pitch now as the Chattanooga Red Wolves and the Greenville Triumph prepare for their second meetup this season in the 2023 season. Once again, we welcome you to the broadcast. Mark Schoenster alongside me, Ross Davenport. Let's take a peek at the starting lineups for both sides, brought to you by Spartanburg Regional Healthcare System. We've got the 4-5-1-4-3-3, however you want to kind of configure it. This is the kind of players that we're trotting out here today for John Harkes' side.
Yep, 2 changes for John Harkes. Tevin Shaw comes out for Aaron Walker. Those two played a half each on the weekend. The big news is Jeremy Mazzola, who left that game on Saturday with a calf injury. He's not healthy enough to start tonight. Gunther Rankenberg gets his first professional start, the man out of Georgia State.
Meanwhile, on the Chattanooga side, a couple of changes themselves, but this is the unit that Scott McKenzie has got going. Shifted to the 3-back ever since he's taken over charge.
Yeah, no Aaron Lombardi tonight. He was replaced by Hernandez, Liberio, and Walefi. Also out Felipe and Siobhan Marsh. What a goal-scoring threat. He's been 2 goals off the bench in the last couple of games.
Looking to hit the double-digit goal tally today, as these two teams get ready to go. Greenville fans, rest your eyes on these topography kits one last time. It's the final time that those kits are going to be donned by the Greenville Triumph. Were released last season in 2022 and have gotten their fair share of goes throughout both last season and this season. But from this point here on out, if they're going to be donning primary colors, they're going to be of the green variety. Meanwhile, Chattanooga in the gray away kits. And there's Marius Lomas.
Familiar with this town, but not with this pitch, obviously.
Familiar with some of the players he'll be up against, but a lot of new faces since his departure after the 2021 season. Busy middle of the week fixture between Chattanooga and Greenville. Let's see if either of them can manage minutes and also manage 3 points.
Yeah, both teams rotating a little bit, but Chattanooga needs some points on the road if they're going to manage any kind of run at the playoffs. I mentioned that in the pregame. 1 win in 13 games on the road this season. That's not the kind of recipe for getting to the postseason.
Alan Gavolania is doing some weaving, but then the ball is poked away from him.
Obviously been a ton of turmoil in the front office and under their 3rd coach this season and 2 coaches last season. It's tough to get things going on the field when things are going so wrong off the field. Obviously, Jimmy Weekly recovering from his health scare. We hope everything's all right with him.
Here's an opportunity shot, fired on goal. It sails over the crossbar. Early opportunity for Greenville, winning the ball off a turnover.
Chattanooga were made to pay for messing around in the center 3rd over the weekend. Messing around in their own 3rd here. It was almost a very costly mistake.
And there's Scott McKenzie. This is his 5th match as the interim coach for the Chattanooga Red Wolves. As we already mentioned, Jimmy Weekly had taken over, has had a health issue. We wish him the best. And if he's tuning in and watching, we welcome him onto the broadcast.
Of course, John Harkes also dealing with his own health issues at the moment. Unable to travel with the team due to some blood clot issues. Spoke to him. He was in good spirits during the week. Glad to be back with the team after obviously not going to Colorado over the weekend.
0-0 draw with the hailstorm on that road trip. Here's Mensa. Swings in the cross, and it's punched away by Rankenberg as he collided with his center back. And now, earning the whistle there is Alan Gavolania, as Evan Lee, who was in the carnage there with Gunther Rankenberg. We see Ryan McKinnon here, and some words from John Harkes.
This is when you haven't played many minutes. This is the kind of thing that can happen. Actually, he was unlucky. Lee just kind of got in the way. Might have been helped there a little bit by a Chattanooga player. Marks there in the black shirt.
Had to watch his team from the ESPN Plus broadcast the last game.
Texting away.
He said it obviously a little strange, but he had full faith in his guys and his coaching staff. They all know what to do. It's ultimately, it's not like he's the one who's maintaining the principles on game day anyway. It's up to the players.
You have such a core leadership group of the 4 that have been around forever. So Tyler Pollack not playing tonight. He's been out for a little while now with an injury, but Fricky, Walker, and Lee, you got that kind of leadership on the field. It certainly helps if you're a senior manager. Jamie Smith has already, came in with a broken nose. I think he may have already thrown off the Batman mask he was wearing. He broke his nose on Saturday against Northern Colorado. We saw him warming up with it. I'm not sure if he started with it. Did he, Mark? Didn't remember to look at when he first touched the ball.
I don't know. That's the first time I really gave him a good look.
Some players just don't like wearing those things, so you have to be careful tonight.
Lomas. Play stops there. Our head official today, Austin Saini.
I think I was surprised when he didn't come back, Mark. 15 goals in 28 games is a pretty solid return. The guy in his first season, still only 28. Basically auditioning him for a job next year. I'm not sure what his contract deal is with Chattanooga, but perhaps with a team option, he's got the chance to prove himself, find himself a gig next year in Tennessee or somewhere else.
He's certainly demonstrated in the past that he has the chops to score.
Mackenzie said he's been doing the dirty work, working back and pressing hard as well. So he's a top player, a winner, competitive. Said just disappointed that his team really hasn't given him balls in an area that he can go to work and do his poaching. Chattanooga lead the league in open crosses, had a ton on Saturday as well, but just weren't quality. It wasn't enough quality balls in.
Ref saying play on there after the contact. Frankie finds a head in the middle, and that's Ryan McKinnon, who may have made contact with his head, not just with the ball, but with the Chattanooga defender.
Chattanooga throwing their weight around early here. Mentioned they were playing a vantage mark for the foul. Let's see what happens here. Oof, that's a nasty collision. Put your head down there. You're always at risk of making contact. He was asking for the foul. Perhaps he wasn't ready when they restarted it there.
Here's Pedro Hernandez, who loses his footing. Giving the ball back to Greenville. And then Walker getting tripped up by Mensa. So a bit chippy early on in this one, Ross.
Yeah, Austin saying he might want to have a word at some point here. He looks like he may be having a word out of picture. Somebody from Chattanooga. Calm things down. Just a few too many fouls in these first 6 minutes. Tell you what they've come to do, though. Slow the game down.
Gunther Rankenberg will put this one back in. Had to sub into the game for Jared Mazzola against Northern Colorado, and is able to preserve the team clean sheet. Neither him nor Mazzola will end up accruing that one in the stat sheet, but it matters as equal importance as any of the other ones would. John Hart's talked about he was happy with how resilient his side was in that game. Talked about the narrow pitch. It's a tough place to play against a dangerous team that, despite a string of losses recently with the Hailstorm, they've still been scoring a ton of goals. He felt they had the better chances in the game. Thought the only criticism he could come up with is he felt his team could have pressed the game more at times, but ultimately you're pretty pleased with a clean sheet against one of those potent offenses and on the road as well. Hernandez sends it across. It's just too far ahead of the players in the 6, and it's not kept in play. It'll be a goal kick. Meanwhile, for Chattanooga, it was a 2-1 loss on the road against Omaha. Another narrow pitch. Scott McKenzie said that he felt they played well between the boxes. They created a lot of chances and had a lot of attacking moments. And he appreciated the amount of width they played with in that match, but they didn't deliver in the final third. And he said that the 2 goals, we were the architects of our own downfall.
Yeah, they were pretty poor turnovers in the center of the pitch, but they've been playing reasonably well. Their last 3 losses, they've only been by 1 goal each, and they were against North Carolina, Madison, and Omaha.
Yeah.
2 of those teams red hot at the moment. They have 5 of their final 8 games at home. A win here. Listen, you never know. We saw FC Tucson had that great run at the playoffs in the past. Other teams have gone up there and snuck in. We'll see. A lot of work to do, though. Still, perhaps just enough time left for them to try and salvage a late run. In need 3 points tonight, though. Against perhaps a Greenville team a little leggy off Wednesday, although Chattanooga is well playing. Oh,
Aviles had to put his back into that one. Ryan McKinnon trying to notch his 5th goal against Chattanooga this season.
That was almost, Carlos Aviles has some moments, doesn't he, Mark? That was almost one of them. He looked almost too casual. You saw the ball bouncing at first. You're like, oh, he's got this. He just kept backpedaling.
Perhaps misjudged the bounce on this turf.
Disastrous.
Let's see what Chattanooga does here with some possession. Doesn't have too much longer. The hopeful long ball. Here's a look at this from Ryan McKinnon. A shot from 55 yards from goal. And
He looked a lot more comfortable on the replay. I will say that. But Chattanooga giving up a ton of goals this season. 43, the most in the league. They've allowed 3+ goals 5 times. Don't win too many games when they're giving up that many.
Menza into the 18, looking to notch a goal. Takes a step, shoots, it's off the post. Tried to sneak it in near side. Frankie's able to poke that one, but a good sliding challenge there from Omar Gomez. Keeps it in Chattanooga's favor and prevents a breakaway chance with Alan Gavilanes.
Scott McKenzie mentioned that Papa's one of those guys that can turn nothing into something, and that was the case right there. He just unleashed that shot. Rankenberg was beaten. Luckily, the post saved him.
You took the words right out of my mouth there, Ross.
It's one of those players that you've constantly got to keep an eye on.
Here's Lomas. Tried to sneak it through, but his former teammate, Brandon Fricke, was privy.
Jacob Labovitz, we saw there. Only his 3rd back-to-back start of the season. Such a great rookie campaign. Well, had a great spell, Mark, when he was scoring for fun. He's getting a little out of hand.
Pedro Hernandez will get his 5th yellow card of the season. What's been a crunchy start to this game results in our first booking.
I like that word.
Pedro Hernandez in the 12th minute.
Getting back to Labez, we talked to John Harkes about what the second-year player needs to do to sort of get back to that form from last year, and he said just to think a little less. Here's that shot. That's out of nothing.
I think that's a situation where the striker is just playing at an unconscious level. They see a window and they take it. They don't try and overthink anything.
It's a strike of a confident man.
Hernandez in a sea of blue. Slips it out to Mensa. Back to Gomez. And he'll switch it out wide to the right-hand side. There's Siobhan Marsh on the ball, team's leading goal scorer. They've been in spark off the bench kind of role, but when you have these compact schedules where you play on a weekend and a weekday and then a weekend again, it's all hands on deck in the starting lineup. Coutinho with some space. Plays it out, Labovitz. Need to leave that one for Gavilanes.
Got away there at the wrong time, Jacob Labovitz. Gavilanes was screaming for it on that left wing.
Heavenly sends one over to Frankie. Last 2 times these teams have met, the scoreline has been 5-1. Once in favor of Chattanooga in 2022, and then earlier this year for Greenville in that 4-goal game for Ryan McKinnon. Also in the midweek. You know, it seems to be when the craziest games happen, Ross, is on these Wednesdays.
Yeah, tired legs. You try and rotate as much as you want, but sometimes the heads are a little tired too.
Does result in some zany happenings. Cardona seemed to get that one to glance off of Pilato, and he did.
Chattanooga, they love to throw bodies forward. Talked to Scott McKenzie. First time I'd spoken to Scott McKenzie this season or ever. This week I asked him what his philosophy in coaching was, and he said play it forward. He wants his teams to get forward however they can, as quickly as they can. It does mean sometimes, as we saw on Saturday, you can get caught going the other way at times. That's the way Chattanooga's team has always played, Mark, no matter who's coaching, really. Just helter-skelter. Certainly haven't scored as many goals this season as they would like to.
That man would like to provide a chance here. From the corner kick, our first of the evening, Marsh curls it in, headed away by Smith. Another service. Lomas tried to flick the header.
Just inches away from being a quality chance for Lomas. Too much space in the air.
Corner for Chattanooga.
Body on him. 3 or 4 yards of space there. Marius Lomas will make you pay more often than not.
Wonder how many days during his time with the Triumph he was spent side by side with Brandon Fricke. Different drills and scrimmages. Felipe, the low driver. Pilato pokes it out. An opportunity for a shot. Hernandez couldn't get it through the traffic. Gomez whiffs on it. Now it's Coutinho. Gets a tug, and that'll be a quick booking. And Omar Gomez will collect his second yellow card.
Professional foul there. That's half of the Chattanooga midfield with the yellow card now. We're barely 15 minutes in. He's more of a wing back tonight, but Gomez there with the yellow. Pulling Coutinho back. Coutinho's got to be careful. Lashing out a little bit himself.
Yeah, that's the situation. You just want to make sure the opposition gets the booking and leave it be.
Omar Gomez in the 16th minute.
Labovitz with the back heel, trying to get that ball to escape him. Lomas with Walker bearing down on him. Lomas drags it out wide to Cardona. Nico Cardona and Noah Frankie one-on-one. Now it's Mikhail Williams. We'll give it back to Aviles.
Nico Cardona's got an important job tonight. John Harkes talked about wanting to get Noah Frankie a little further forward tonight. Cardona's going to keep pushing up that wing. He's going to keep Frankie busy and not allow him to do so. Greenville back to the back four tonight. They've been back three most of the last few games.
Williams, they'll get up the pitch to Felipe. Good effort from several Chattanooga players to keep possession and keep the ball in play. Renteria will track this one down. Cardona plays that one just a little too far forward, and it will roll out of play. So in his stead during his time sitting out with his health issues, John Harkes had Nico Luque take over as the man in charge for the game here against Charlotte, and then for that road trip against Northern Colorado. John Harkes said that first off, Nico's a great guy. Came in as a volunteer about a year and a half ago and really displayed his work ethic. Coutinho bringing it forward, could not get it by the second defender. Hernandez was able to split the defenders.
That's a brave challenge from Madrid, leaving his feet inside the box. Must be 2 feet. Had to be sure, and he was. Coutinho, John Harkes said it was one of his best games on Saturday. Certainly got the pace to beat Madrid. He's not a small lad. Manuel Madrid, as you can see on the ball now. He's not the quickest either, though. We'll see if Coutinho can take advantage of that tonight.
Could be kept in play by Cardona.
So I'm sure John Harkes, if he does ever end up leaving Greenville, would love to leave somebody in charge that he would leave, continue that John Harkes legacy almost. Nico Luque has been around now, and obviously now with a full-time job. Is originally a volunteer, just coming to hang out and learn how to learn coaching. He's working with South Carolina Upstate.
As John Harkes put it, although the circumstances for it aren't good, it's a good thing that he got the chance to get the experience of being the head coach for a match or two. Coutinho slides it down that left-hand side. Squared back up top for Pilato, but the flag's going to go up. Select the official match ball supplier of the USL League One and many elite leagues throughout Europe. Visit www.us.select-sport.com for the latest Select products, specials, and more. Select, the player's choice. Marsh slips it through to Lomas, but the flag will go up once again.
As you can see, he's asking for that ball to be played just a split second quicker.
And now Greenville will take it down the other end. Coutinho with some room to operate. Hits the brakes. Got some pressure on him.
Come on, Gomez, he's got to be careful. He's right in the back of Coutinho with a yellow card. That's something I'd advise.
That challenge again.
There wasn't much in that. Jamie Smith not complaining though.
Grabbed a handful of jersey. I think that's probably what the official was looking for.
Chattanooga with nearly 68% possession mark his first 20+ minutes. It's slightly concerning to John Harkes, especially at home.
Gunther Rankenberg asked John Harkes what's his headspace like right now going into this game, knowing he's going to be the starter. John Harkes said he's in a really good headspace. I mean, he came in a high-pressure situation on Saturday and performed, made the save he needed to make. And in weeks prior, he's always talked about how confident he is in Gunther if his name was ever called. And here's the chance.
I don't think any of us can question John Harkes' ability to find good goalkeepers out of college or from anywhere, right? Greenville had a great history of them over the first 5 years of this program.
Coutinho with a hop dummy, and then Gavilanes can't get the shot on frame. I don't know if I've ever seen that one before, Ross.
Well, Labovitz needed to do it about 10 minutes ago on that one play that would have gone through to Gavilanes. This time it was Coutinho. Davidovitz got completely fooled by it. I think he was expecting that.
Gavilanes shoots, and it's nearly on target, but not quite. Lasered that one.
I don't think any of us were expecting that dummy. A little turn by Gavilanes there.
We haven't seen that a ton from Gavilanes this season. Letting one fly from beyond the 18.
He's been playing mostly on the left, right, Mark, cutting in from the right-hand side now with his favorite left foot. I think we may see more of it tonight. Leo Castro in the starting 11 tonight. Injury concern here for the visitors.
Cardona with a boot in his hand. contact in question that has caused this hold up here.
Going back to Gavilanes, he's one of those guys that's known for his ability to take people on with the ball, but I think I like having him on that right. You also have the option to cut back in like that. Rip on with that left foot. Doesn't have that so much when he plays on the left.
The instruction from John Hartz as of right now, with the opportunity to speak to some of his guys. We see there the dialogue between the captain and the coach. Aaron Walker, of course, been with the team the entire time, so pretty well versed in the way that man wants the team to play. You mentioned it earlier, they've got a good core of veteran leadership on this team. And of course, you've got the opposite for Scott McKenzie, just his 5th game. So he's still feeling out everything with this side.
A tough spot. He's probably kind of relieved that his USL League Two season was over in Utah. And then, oh, hey, we've got something else we need you to do. He seemed pretty happy with everything on the phone this week. Very confident in his abilities. Mentioned he, obviously being out in Park City, keeps tabs on what's going on with the parent club and watches the games on ESPN+. But he said you can't really judge character by watching games on ESPN+. He's very much, just like John Hartz, is a character guy, a personality guy. These players. To restart this, I think.
When it came to the game against Omaha, and one of the big things he's emphasizing as of right now with his team is that the little things make big differences. Right now they're honing in on those little things, and he said it can sometimes be the most difficult part of the process when you're just trying to iron those out. As Coutinho does well to body off his defender. Oh, it's a fabulous finish. A moment of wonder from Lucas Coutinho.
Little man getting physical in the box. Love to see it.
Just fantastic from the Brazilian.
Real Madrid just lost track of it. Just shrugging off the attention from the Chattanooga defender. What a finish, as you said, Mark. I'm sure Carlos Avalos saw that coming.
The 5th goal of the season for Lucas Coutinho, and that goal is presented by YMCA Greenville. I mean, Lucas Coutinho is about 5'9". Mikhail Williams, Richard Renteria, Manuel Madrid. Pretty imposing figures of center backs, and Lucas Coutinho handled the business. And just was able to get his boot on it, and boy, did that ball come off his foot oh so nicely.
Yeah, it certainly bounced up at that perfect height for him. One of those more perhaps hopeful strikes than anything, but when you catch it like that, you're going to score more often than not from that distance. And with his technical ability.
Played at Clover High School in South Carolina, and of course went on to other places before returning to South Carolina to play with Greenville. Coming off a great performance against Northern Colorado, as we discussed earlier, and now he's been rewarded with a goal in this game. It's been dangerous in this one so far. 5 goals and 2 assists on the season for Coutinho.
He's only been getting sporadic starts this season. He was starting earlier the first quarter of the season or so quite frequently, but then I think John Hartz understands Coutinho's body type. They need to keep him healthy. So he's been getting a couple in, couple out, coming off the bench when he's not starting, obviously. Certainly feeling it right now. Hit the post on Saturday.
Yeah, what came within margins of scoring a goal that would have earned 3 points at Northern Colorado. And here he is now, working with Siobhan Marsh, someone that John Hart's called incredibly dangerous off the bench, and they have to deal with him from the get-go. Felipe with the cross, looking for Lomas. Action still in play until now. Now Labovitz shrugging off a defender. Labovitz still going with it, but it just clipped the defender. Manuel Madrid needed just a piece of it to stifle some of its momentum. And now a whistle from Austin Saini.
There's a nice little flick there by Labovitz, but Mikael Williams, a tough man to beat for pace. Labovitz not the quickest in the world. But encouraging.
So Jamie Smith once again took off the mask, and it maybe looked like they're checking his face right now. Broke his nose on Saturday against Northern Colorado. Let's take a look at what happened here.
So he might have got an elbow.
Yeah, it looks like
for Papa Mensa. Just depending how much pain he's in. Not much you can really do for a broken nose, unfortunately. Let's see if Smith is able to continue. Not in too serious pain.
John Hart said he figures out the game really well, Jamie Smith. He sees plays unfold, which was on display when he put himself in the right spot to make a fantastic goal line clearance to keep the scoreline at 0-0 against Northern Colorado.
John Harkes does have Nate Schultz on the bench should he need him at that right back spot.
Down a goal right now. Scott McKenzie will continue to consult with his coaching staff here. Minute management, always such an important thing, especially when you've got congested schedules like these two teams have right now. As a matter of fact, let's take a peek at those schedules right now. Greenville, here's what they've got coming up. Huge game on the weekend against Union Omaha, who are currently riding a 5-game win streak. But at this point in time, all of these games are so huge, and then after this, you've got a road trip to Lexington. Lexington still in the thick of the race. North Carolina FC, top of the table, hosting them, trying to get some payback after 2 losses against them earlier this season. And then meanwhile, for the Chattanooga Red Wolves, on the road against Tormenta, no, actually hosting them, excuse me, a rematch of last year's final. Then they host Ford Madison. And you see, like you mentioned earlier, Ross, they need wins, and they need them in bunches. So Jamie Smith clutching his nose once again.
Problem is, if you stuff that nose up, you're going to have trouble breathing. Yes, it's going to hurt. So it's going to be a matter of pain tolerance now for Jamie Smith.
Truly unfortunate luck from him. 2 games in a row to get that arm in the face.
See if he's able to continue. Greenville a man down for the time being.
This one stepped on by Frankie. Frankie can't quite get that one away in the way he would have liked.
So got caught under his feet a little bit.
So Jamie Smith has trotted his way back into the game. We'll see if he's able to keep it up, at least till halftime. As you mentioned, Nate Schultz, who has played a bulk of the season in the starting lineup, on the bench.
Greenville 8-2-2 when scoring the opening goal this season. Scored more first half goals than anybody. 21. 23 games.
at the group
Not,
experience
haven't been
area.
quite the defensive force that they used to be.
Thank you.
The Greenville team went up 1-0 in the first half. It was almost game over over the
Foregone
last 2 or 3
conclusion.
years.
Yeah.
Hasn't quite been the same this year, but they've been scoring a lot more.
It gives and it takes away. There's a reason why this game is
Triumph fans
enjoyed
All-American
decades and
handcrafted
decades
cheeseburgers
later,
straight off the
because it's
grill.
impossible to figure out the perfect way to do it.
Located at 1810 West
At
Woodlands
least
Drive,
impossible to
Greenville.
figure out and maintain for a serious stretch of time. Mensah dancing around with the ball, finds Felipe. He'll do a little turn as well, and then plays it too far ahead of Hernandez. Don't miss a minute of the action in 2023. Whether your club is on the road or at home, catch nearly every second of USL League One action on ESPN+. Go home to the USL, La Liga, the Bundesliga, UFC, and more. Sign up today at plus.espn.com.
Greenville with the lead despite only 61.2% passing accuracy, Mark. That's not a number that's going to win you many games. Took advantage of their one real chance and put it away. That's been the difference so far. Chattanooga still with over 65% possession. They haven't managed to threaten Gunther Rankenberg too much as of yet.
Now that Ropapa Mensah shot, the closest they've gotten, and then a couple of moments where they've been reaching for low miss, but it hasn't translated to testing the keeper yet.
Chattanooga Red Wolves. 1 win, 1 draw, lost 10 when conceding the opening goal away from home. This was every game away from home this season. They conceded the opener. It's been a rough. A lot of teams struggling. I did Charlotte over the weekend, and they've struggled on the road too. That was only their second road win of the season.
Coutinho ailing after blocking that shot. That one spills over to Gavilanes. Able to jack open some space, and Coutinho is still hurting. And that's going to be a foul on Labovitz as he came flying into Johnny Felipe.
You see Labovitz's frustration. He won the aerial duel, but there was nobody there from the midfield to pick it up. An aerial duel away, but then Coutinho, yeah, you see he's still feeling his back injury. Plata and Walker just sort of standing there. Labovitz just got a little frustrated and lashed out on Felipe, making only his 3rd start of the season.
Deloney from Hartford.
Hartford playing tonight against Pittsburgh, find themselves down 2-0.
Got one other game taking place in League One. Northern Colorado against Tormenta.
It's 1-1, and guess who scored the goals?
Well, I saw Trevor Ammon scored, but I didn't see who scored for Tormenta, so I'm going to guess it's Keziah Sterling.
You are correct.
The usual suspects.
Arthur Rogers with his 9th assist on that Trevor Ammon goal. 11 minutes apart, those two. Tormenta had the lead.
That was a rough challenge. It's going to be a booking for Manuel Madrid. His 5th yellow of the season.
There's a heavy touch from Madrid. Got there late. Never good when you see centre backs making challenges like that in the final third.
The referee has issued a caution to Chattanooga's number
Quality
23,
mustache.
I was
Manuel Madrid,
thinking that as well.
in the 38th minute.
From Chihuahua, Mexico, Manuel Madrid.
He's not built like a Chihuahua.
Certainly not. Heads it up the pitch. Well done from Lomas. And now it's Marsh, who gets by Fricky, excuse me. Marsh with the shot. It's saved by Rankenberg.
It's a big save by Gunther Rankenberg. a ton to do this first half. That was his first certainly one-on-one opportunity. Stood tall, stood his ground. Jamal Marsh couldn't find a way past him. I think he just committed and was beaten for pace, which most people are going to be by. It's actually good work back by Jamie Smith. At least put Siobhan Marsh off a little bit, perhaps make him rush his shot.
Corner kick for Chattanooga. Felipe lofts it in, and it's headed away. Mikhail Williams was getting ready to square that one on goal. Another cross comes in. Lomas! It's off target.
Absolutely anywhere, including just straight to the back of the net. Rankenberg thought about coming for it, perhaps did a little too late. He was almost caught in no man's land. It was a lovely ball in by Marsh.
So Papa Mensah, who ended up being closest to it, was both him and Mario Lomas around the vicinity of the ball. Two tall figures, Mensah and Lomas. Jamie Smith with a long ball up the pitch. Headed away by Madrid. When it came to the attacking threats, they've seen a little bit of each of them now from Chattanooga. John Hart said that obviously they're familiar with what Lomas brings to the table. He said Mensah can be incredibly dangerous at any given time. Meanwhile, speaking of danger, here's Gavilanes. Gavilanes gets it denied by Madrid.
Thought I heard a whistle blow. Somebody down.
So it appears a collision has hit both Aaron Walker as well as Mikhail Williams. So it appears we've got a view of what occurred. It's right here, this mid-air collision. Yep, just knocking heads. Both of them getting checked for concussions, as is standard for situations like this. Both 33 years of age, Aaron Walker and Mikhail Williams. Guys who have seen their fair share of professional soccer. As those players get checked up on, another opportunity for the coaches to give some insight and instruction. As we're approaching 45 minutes, this segment of the match brought to you by ScanSource, accelerated growth for partners and calling Greenville home for 30 years. Always a good sight to see the players back up on their feet.
Yeah, Walker, certainly a man that Greenville can't afford to lose. It's been a strange first half as Chattanooga dominated possession, final third entries, but Greenville have looked the more dangerous team most of the half when they have gone into that final third. As you mentioned earlier, Scott McKenzie looking for that quality. Other than that shot off the post, perhaps that one cross that Papa Mensah should have put on target. Still been in for a frustrating night so far for the visitors, but plenty of time certainly to play their way right back into this one. Although good attention on the defensive end here in the corner for Greenville.
The first PNC corners for kids of the evening for the Greenville Triumph. We're described as a quality side, well balanced, and have been well coached for a long time by Scott McKenzie talking about his opposition. He knew it'd be a challenge. Let's see if they can hold up here against this Greenville corner kick. looking to double their advantage on the set piece. Service is low, and the ball will sail onto the roof of the netting. And Aaron Walker has been waved back on. So both him and Mikhail Williams are in fit shape to play. Meanwhile, concerning Chattanooga, Sean Harks called them a team with a fighting spirit about them. And he said, you've got to be aware of that. They won't quit. He also mentioned how he's been in touch with Jimmy Weekly, two of them. Keeping touch. Long ball forward for Labovitz. Labovitz can't get there in time. Aviles reading the danger and getting there just in time.
Yeah, it was well played by Aviles. Had to make a decision and get on his horse because Labovitz was in with a chance there. Aviles was quite deep in his box too. Did what he had to do though.
Turn on the Jets. Get there ASAP. Probably have a fair chunk of stoppage time added here. Mikhail Williams with the long ball up, headed away by Lee. Pilato. Marsh still on the ground. That was a bit cartoonish.
Gotta play this game on your feet.
The fourth official has indicated 8 minutes of stoppage time.
So as you could hear over the PA system, 8 minutes of stoppage time. Stoppage time brought to you by Engineered Sleep, the best handmade mattresses in town. Visit engineeredsleep.com for better sleep. Well, last time we had a stoppage time in the first half here, Ross, we had 2 goals scored, and that can really change the complexion of a game really quick.
Stoppage time's difficult because it doesn't matter the number. You hear the number and you think, all right, just when you have the lead, let's just get to the half, right? Chattanooga now, I see that 8 minutes. All right, got a chance here to change the halftime team talk.
Well, launched into the 18, headed away by Gomez.
We're also thinking about having a seat, having a drink. We're having obviously some chances for water breaks here in this first half. It's not super hot tonight.
Lee galloping forward to Gavilanes. His touch a little loose, but a tight turn there. Then he had to chase his touch. Still Gavilanes slides it to Lee. Lee, it's knocked away by Madrid. Evan Lee still on it.
Gavilanes, it's just low center of gravity. He's hard to knock over.
Pilato. Forward to Walker. It's Lee again. And Lee gets pushed over from behind. That's Omar Gomez. He's on a card already. Has to be cautious. And light contact though.
Yeah, Aaron Walker knowing exactly what to do there.
So set piece with Gavilanes and Pilato sitting behind the ball. Gavilanes short to Pilato. Pilato keeps it in play. Headed on goal off the crossbar, but it's followed through and knotted home. Another stoppage time goal for the Greenville Triumph. And it's 2-0 for the home side.
Training ground set piece almost worked to perfection. Jamie Smith, what a first half he's had, even with the elbow to the nose. Not sure if he gets the assist on that one, but he really should. Labovitz there to clean up. Right place at the right time.
Here's another look at it. Pilato gets by Marsh.
Chattanooga players standing around a little bit, not ball watching. Nicholas Cardona not goal side of Jacob Labovitz, and that was the fatal mistake.
A jubilant celebration between Jacob Labovitz and Jamie Smith as Levovich notches in his 3rd goal of the season. That Greenville Triumph SC goal brought to you by YMCA Greenville. Hernandez really need a response now if they can find it. Still a lot of time left here in the half. Once again, the goal brought to you by YMCA Greenville. Been looking to find that form for Jacob Levovich, and sometimes it takes a moment like that to spark it. Right place at the right time is not luck, it's a talent that a striker possesses.
Remember when he went on that run last year, that was one of the things he was doing. He was just always finding himself around the ball in the penalty area with a goal-scoring opportunity. It was a costly foul, right, Mark? And then Pilato easily could have gone down the box to try and draw a penalty, but kept his feet, floated a beautiful cross in. Jamie Smith not afraid to get his head involved even with that bloody nose again.
Definitely some kudos can be thrown at Jamie Smith for his, you could call it stubbornness, you could call it grit. Either way, he's now fought through a couple of painful moments in order to help his side come away with an advantage, a double advantage, as Jacob Levovich, you see there, now with 15 goals in his time as a player of the Greenville Triumph, which ties him for 2nd in club history with Aaron Walker and Mario Slomis.
That's right.
So how about that? All 3 of those players all here sitting on the pitch today. Walker from distance. Lomas with the cross inside, floats up. Smith can only chest that one out for a corner kick.
Marius Lomas has been involved in this first half, just not in those goal-scoring positions though. He's almost been the creator more than the poacher.
So 6 of the 8 minutes have now transpired. And Chattanooga find a way to have this deficit before the break. Siobhan Marsh from the corner. Puts a lot of air under that one. Headed back centrally! And Mensah couldn't keep that one down. That's a prime opportunity.
Yeah, certainly won that one back. Greenville. The Greenville defense just sort of forgot about him. You can see him there. Levovich and Pilato giving him far too much space once that ball drifted over him. Should have put that one at least on target. Forced at minimum a save from Rankenberg.
Fricky heads that one forward. Cavalanez trying an apt touch. Minute to go. Once that whistle blows, we'll have some halftime content for you on the other side of the break. If you missed Saturday's action last week, I'll take you through everything that went down. A lot of goals last Saturday, Ross.
Seems there's been a lot of goals the last two or three weekends.
Very true. Chattanooga looking for something here late. Williams with the ball inside, squared centrally, punched away by Rankenberg. Marsh shoots and scores! Chattanooga claim one back before the halftime whistle. And it's
Marsh. Yeah, go ahead, Mark. He can't stop scoring.
Double-digit goals on the season for Siobhan Marsh. This time, Camp's back. It spills to his feet. And then he's able to wind around Jamie Smith and get the job done.
Chattanooga's look dangerous on these crosses. Put them in with pace.
Your halftime score, Triumph 2.
And that will be the last bit of action in the first half. Greenville with the 2-0 advantage all the way up until the final touch of the first half. Siobhan Marsh putting one in, keeping this one within striking distance for the visiting side. We'll step aside for a little bit. When we come back, we're going to go through the highlights from last Saturday's action. And then we'll have some news around the league to touch base on, including a chance for one club with the opportunity to tie a league record in the win category. Find out more on the other side of this break on ESPN+.
This is no sleepy-headed, moving in reverse kind of state. We're home to barrier-breaking humans who took $7 billion and invested it in microchips, potato chips, nope, education. This investment, it builds jobs and more jobs where people create things like flying, not that. Who does all this? Forward-thinking pilgrims of change, like you. South Carolina. Now that's smart.
You know, I'm just feeling a lot of pressure. There's big shoes to fill.
It's your time now, Tommy. I know you'll keep it special like your dad did.
If we can keep this business growing, I think that's the best way to honor him.
Well, I was there for him, and I'll be there for you.
About this new location,
He would have loved it, Tommy. Let's find a way.
The future is in these foothills. The world's fastest internet from EPB is in homes from Hickson to Highland Park. In classrooms from East Lake to East Brainerd. And in reach of those striving to learn more, be more, achieve more. The future is here with fiber optic speeds up to 25 gigs, only from EPB.
We offer a full array of dental treatment, and what that provides you as a patient is you're able to come to one place and get comprehensive care under one roof.
I've always been greeted with a smile. They know me when I call. I trust them.
We'd love to see you at Wood Creek Dental. Visit us at woodcreekdental.com.
Halftime between Greenville and Chattanooga here, brought to you by Blue Choice Health Plan of South Carolina. In case you missed the action last Saturday, we have a good recap here on the docket for you. So let's dive right into it. After Knoxville took home the series in the Barrel Brawl on Friday, we go to City Stadium on Saturday, where over 5,500 people came to see the Kickers in North Carolina FC. Unfortunately, Olex Anderson scoring in red at City Stadium is no longer a good thing for the Kickers, and that surreal nightmare would continue in the second half as Anderson notches his 4th goal against his former club and his 13th goal of the season. Then, in the 81st minute, the barrage would continue with this chance. The ball would squeeze out, and then Mikey Maldonado, just a scorcher from outside the 18 to make it 3-0 in favor of North Carolina FC on the road. But moments later, Nil Vinyals would deliver a lovely ball to Fitch to win back a goal. But it would be too little too late. John Bradford's side right now is just rolling. They win the season series against Richmond and stay atop of the table. Then, Madison at Tormenta, 4 games in a game wasn't enough for you. Then there's 2 things. First off, you're incredibly greedy, but you're also incredibly lucky because we've got even more goals for you here at Optum Sports Medicine Field. Christian Cheney cleaning up the effort from Jane Nolan and making it 1-0 early. Then, just minutes later, look at Jackson Curry here. One-on-one with Stephen Payne, gets by him, and then earns the deflection off of Mitch Osmond to make it back to a 1-1 scoreline. Then under 10 minutes later in the 26th minute, never lose track of Jaden Onan. He puts this one away, getting the goal himself this time. A special acknowledgement to Christian Cheney, who had a Great touch on that one in the assist. Second half starts. Keziah Sterling takes the penalty, and then Keziah Sterling takes the ball away from Mitch Osmond, and then he puts it away here to make it 3-2. Worth noting, Madison at this point in the season is tied for first in least goals conceded, but 31% of those goals have come in 2 matches against Tormenta. Here is goal number 4 on the day, which makes it 8 goals on the season. Tormenta has been able to hang on Madison. They get the 4-2 victory and continue to push for that playoff line. Meanwhile, in Omaha, it is the Owls and the Red Wolves. Luis Heel ends up making this nifty pass to Alex Steinwasser, who has taken a liking to scoring against the Red Wolves. Only 2 goals this season, both of them against Chattanooga. Then in the 66th minute, don't give the Owls a breakaway opportunity. Joe Brito will end up finding Eddie Gordon, and Gordon will drive down the lane, play it across centrally, and earns the deflection off of Aaron Lombardi for a 2-0 lead. Eventually a push from Connor Doyle would earn a penalty for the Red Wolves in the 96th minute. They fought hard in this one and end up making a 2-1 scoreline, but the Owls, currently running a 5-game win streak, it's the longest of any team this year and one of the longest in League One history. We'll talk more about that on the other side of the break. Then, if you don't like goals, unlike the games earlier, you're going to get some clean sheets here. Noco, Lalo Delgado, able to keep a clean sheet on the day. And then on top of that, you've got Jared Mazzola on the other side, who's caught out of his line. Luckily, he has got Jamie Smith, who will be sitting on the back here. The goal line clearance with the broken nose, mind you, Jamie Smith in his first start of the season, protecting his keeper here, keeping it 0-0. We'd also get a third goalkeeper in this game after Mazzola had to come out. Gunther Rankenberg, with the combined effort from Jared Mazzola, would get a clean sheet for the Greenville Triumph, a 0-0 draw over in Colorado. Then the last game of the day in the 31st minute, 3 veterans would combine for this goal. Former MLS playmaker Miguel Ibarra connects with English and French champion Gabriel Oberton, who puts it on a plate for Joel Johnson, the most apt player in Charlotte Independence history. Now, if that one was a little bit too clean for you, we've got a chaotic goal here. Just watch and make your assessment of what's happening here. I'll tell you the statistic, which is Qudis Lawal getting his first goal for Central Valley Fuego. Now, Charlotte may have a lot of complaints about maybe some unfairness on that play, but they would end up getting the victory when Miguel Ibarra gets the chance to put this one away delicately. Just nice that one in. Charlotte gets all 3 points. Now you're all caught up. We'll step aside and we'll talk present stuff about the USL on the other side of this break.
We all have goals. But let's be honest, most of us aren't going to be professional athletes. But if your goal is to finish your degree, we can help. Come to a university that puts your goals first. Bellevue University, your partner in finishing goals.
Life is a winding road, no telling where it goes. Driving through days and nights, won't stop for traffic lights. And I really wanna know,
Here are your news and notes around USL League One. First off, Mateus Cassini parting ways with Tormenta. Pretty shocking development in the Tormenta camp. Then that second graphic, the OG League One fans recognize that logo. That's the Lansing Ignite from 2019. They have the League One record for 6 straight wins in league history. Omaha right now at 5. They could hit 6 on the weekend against the Greenville Triumph, tying that record. But kind of crazy to see us talk about a campaign back in 2019 with a club that we haven't seen in a hot minute. Meanwhile, Keziah Sterling winning player of the week. Here's your team of the week. Neither team in this game featured in this list, but quite a few Tormenta players after their successful bout against Forward Madison. Here's some scores from around the league, both from past weekend for these two clubs. And also at halftime, Tormenta trying to keep the run going. We mentioned Knoxville as maybe an aggressor to that playoff spot. Also Tormenta getting the ball going. They're now the highest scoring team in USL League One. And I mean, when you've got Bukweli Akale, Keziah Sterling, and company there, they're a tough team to play. And that's exactly who Chattanooga have to play on Saturday. Meanwhile, we already mentioned Greenville going up against Union Omaha. Will be an interesting bout between them. And then North Carolina FC, Northern Colorado, another interesting one to look at. But with all of these games, they're all so important right now at this point in the season. This game is also pretty important. We got the highlights from the first 45 and the second 45 coming up on the other end of this break on ESPN+.
We started thinking about new locations where we need to be. As Spartanburg just made sense because we already had all the connections from 25 years ago, and still currently. I mean, we do a lot of business out of Spartanburg. But we really, really like to pour into our loan officers and to our operations staff. But, I'd love for it to be, another one of our main branches.
It's not about building a home in just 30 hours for a deserving family with Habitat for Humanity, or about building homes for a national television competition. It's about building memorable experiences with our community, team members, and trade partners that will last for a lifetime. Hunter Quinn Homes, building the difference.
We offer a full array of dental treatment, and what that provides you as a patient is you're able to come to one place and get comprehensive care under one roof.
I've always been greeted with a smile. They know me when I call. I trust them.
We'd love to see you at Wood Creek Dental. Visit us at woodcreekdental.com.
Fifth Third Bank. Yeah, it's a quirky name. But here's the thing, 5/3 equals 166.7%. So we put 166.7% into everything we do. Like automatically getting you your paycheck up to 2 days early, giving you well-deserved extra time to avoid overdraft fees, and helping you borrow from your future self. This is banking a Fifth Third better.
This evening's USL League One broadcast is presented by Blue Choice Health Plan of South Carolina, proud partner of the Greenville Triumph.
Congratulations.
As we welcome you back to Powden Stadium, action is coming up, but first, let's peek at the action from the first 45 minutes of action between the Triumph and the Red Wolves. Mark Schoenstar alongside me, Ross Davenport. Starting in the 10th minute, an opportunity for Rapapa Mensah to give his team the lead, but unfortunately, he'd end up being denied by the woodwork.
Yeah, cut back inside on Jamie Smith and flash that one off the post. That was the only real decent chance from the first, at least until stoppage time for Chattanooga.
And then Lucas Coutinho, in a sea of gray jerseys, just pops that one into the top left corner. Just sensational from him.
I hope that gets some goal of the week love. Perfect balance and a great strike.
Then a breakaway chance for Siobhan Marsh, breaking away from Fricky. And then saved by Gunther Rankenberg in his first professional start. It's snapped up. by Noah Pilata, who would then provide a nice cross in here for a header off the woodwork, and then a cleanup crew effort from Jacob Labovitz to make it 2-0. And then right before the halftime whistle, it would end up being Siobhan Marsh to score here, but it would be after some spillage from Rankenberg.
Yeah, Rankenberg, I see what he was trying to do. There wasn't really much danger. He didn't really need to push it right into the path of Siobhan Marsh. One of the 13 crosses for Chattanooga in that first half to Greenville's 3, not mentioned in these stats. You can see possession stats in favor of Chattanooga, but Greenville with the lead at the break.
Stats brought to you by Warehouse Services Incorporated. As these two teams look to get things going once again, one of the goal scorers will set things off for the home side. So 2 substitutions coming in for Greenville. Liam McKinnon out of the game for Tevin Shaw. Meanwhile, Nate Schultz will come in for Noah Frankie.
Yeah, just some rotation from John Harks. Liam McKinnon was very quiet in that first half ever since he took that headshot in that collision. Another game, big game coming up on the weekend against Omaha, so trying to keep him fresh perhaps.
Let's see what the next half of action has in store for us.
So Ellen Gavilanes will go over to the left-hand side.
We'll see how this adjusts the shape of this Greenville side. Both these substitutions brought to you by Spinks.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Perhaps Coutinho goes a little wider, or pushes up a little further forward, I would think. Perhaps it's more of a true 10. He was playing more of a 8 in front of the dual pivot, Pilata and Walker, in that first half. Sure, we'll certainly drop a little deeper. Perhaps allow Aaron Walker to push a little further forward as well.
Service comes in. Header floats up still. Rankenberg just barely gets his mitts on it. Had to rise up above 2 Chattanooga strikers. Manuel Madrid and Papa Mensa. 2 big guys. Luckily, Rankenberg is also of similar stature and has the benefit of using his hands.
Yeah, both Chattanooga players just drifting a little too into Rankenberg there, but Chattanooga again looking dangerous with these crosses. Scott McKenzie, as you mentioned, was happy with the quantity of the crosses on Saturday, but not the quality. He's got the quality tonight, that's for sure. Much improved in that department. Greenville has struggled at times to deal with those balls played into the middle.
In each game, you know that Scott McKenzie is just getting more and more familiar with the capability of his guys. You talked about it briefly in the first half, that he knew the squad from afar, watched the games from Park City, and he was having conversations with the brass in Tennessee. So he had a foundational understanding of the group, but he mentioned that coaching is understanding the personalities and the locker room dynamics, which you can't gain until you're in the thick of it, working with the guys, you know, in person.
So Evan Lee, maybe they've gone to 5 at the back. I'm trying to figure out what Greenville are doing at the back. Schultz has clearly gone to right back. Certainly no natural left back on the pitch at the moment now. Looks like Evan Lee will go there. Very comfortable in a number of positions. Evan Lee, obviously seen him playing defensive midfield quite a bit this season.
Marsh getting hit in the face there.
Not sure if I want to be dealing with his pace in the second half here. You have Hassan Gabo as an option, Daniel Wu as well. And then they're traditional left backs.
To be fair, it is hard to find someone to match the pace of Siobhan Marsh, no matter who it is. So Chattanooga hold things up here. Had the bulk of possession in the first half. And we're staring at a 2-goal deficit going into the break until Siobhan Marsh was able to find the back of the net in the dying moments. I look to translate the possession they had into more dangerous opportunities. Gavilanes keep this one in play. He can. And he's able to put in some effort to get back to that ball and wins the throw-in.
That's great work from Gavilanes.
Coutinho with a bump, loses his footing. And it'll be another throw for Greenville right in front of the Reedy River Riot. Gonna load of this effort here from Gavilanes. Does what he can to keep it in play.
Unfortunately, he slipped to us, and then he sort of miskicked it. Earned himself the throw. We'll get another one here. Leibovitz launch went in with his trademark distance throw.
Leibovitz with a catapult. And the squared header from over the cross.
Out with the head, but yeah, lovely throw by Leibovitz, and sure found himself in some space. He's standing between 3 Chattanooga defenders.
Aviles well outside his penalty area. He'll play it up the pitch. And then grazed contact with Mensah and into the hands of Rankenberg. Once again, you're looking at the final appearance of the topography blue kits for the Greenville Tramp tonight. Thought it was a nice addition to the wardrobe for the Triumph. Chattanooga trying to push forward.
Yeah, Hummel's done a great job with those Greenville jerseys over the years. He's taking over.
Marsh. Couldn't find his man on the left-hand side. Walker is dispossessed, but it was not done fairly, according to our head official, Austin Saini. Johnny Felipe will have to relinquish possession back to the visiting, or back to the leading side, excuse me. Talking about his side, he said they've been working on making themselves tough to beat. He said in that game against Omaha, it was a bit frustrating because you make yourself tough to beat and then you beat yourselves almost. They felt it was a winnable game against Omaha on the road, which is, don't think a far-fetched statement if you watch the game, but it is crazy to think about given how red hot the Owls are at the moment.
Yeah, they were certainly in it in that game for a good majority of it. 5 shots on target to Omaha's 4, 55.2% possession. So couldn't quite turn it into any goals from open play, just the penalty.
Cardona, a player had a lot of action in that game, sends the cross in. Some trippage there, Marsh goes down. Nothing foul there from the ref.
Half-hearted calls there as Gavilanes limping a little bit. John Marks, I think, was looking for the foul on that takeaway from Gavilanes. Didn't get it.
Renteria. Over to Felipe. A low miss, but it's knocked away by Lee. Graze off the striker though, so it'll be a Greenville throw.
John Harkes will be disappointed. Greenville haven't used that width tonight. 16 crosses to Chattanooga for Greenville's 3. Wingbacks making it harder. Greenville don't get much down the wings. Cavalanius has had his moments, that's for sure. McKinnon didn't do a whole ton on the other way.
Cardona. Another ball inside. Rankenberg has to make sure he gets that bounce right. Got Papa Mensah breathing there right in front of him.
That was a good claim by Rankenberg. That one could have bounced awkwardly.
Here's Coutinho, the first goal scorer of the day. And what a fantastic goal it was. Now Walker with some space. It's tripped up by Felipe. He's had a handful of fouls now. Has not been booked yet, though.
That was a tough one. If he hadn't put his arm out, he just stood his ground, but it was a good foul in the end, stopping Walker in his tracks, allowing his team to reset.
Bit of a forlorn shake of his head after the fact from Johnny Felipe. Well, one goal came off of a set piece for Greenville, and it was these two who were behind the ball in that situation.
Some shenanigans.
All right, official, not gonna have it. Pilato swings it in. Player goes tumbling down. Now was Aaron Walker, who seemed to be the intended target and ended up slipping.
That was a great ball in from Pilato. Certainly had the pace to cause Chattanooga some trouble. Walker went down on his own accord.
A PNC corners for kids. Alan Gavilanez will provide the service from that right flag spot. That one with a high arc. Fricky back centrally. Couple bodies going down. Clearance is given. Now Nate Schultz, the substitute, will give it back to Rankenberg. Let's see how he does with it at his feet.
You could see that one coming a mile away. Just took a little too much time with that. Schultz's back pass didn't have quite enough pace. The first touch.
Showing himself to be a Cardona. And Gavilanez chasing. And a sliding challenge from Gavilanez will out for what appears to be a corner kick.
Get some love for his captain. Gavilanez has run hard tonight, both ways. Up and down that, well, either it was the right wing in the first half, left wing in the second half.
Felipe looked to serve in something nice here. Really to come of that one. Hernandez keeps it in play. I'll give it to the top to Cardona. Just gets that Gomez.
Chattanooga continues to threaten on these wings. It gets tiring as a center back, center mid trying to defend these balls in. Keep track of your defenders. Keep track, excuse me, of the attackers.
Papa Mensah has come close a couple times today. Hasn't quite worked out for him yet. He'll want his side to continue to feed him the ball and give him opportunities. Aviles was looking for Lomas, was a little too high. Schultz under duress. Was able to get that one away safely. Now it's Coutinho. And the offside flag should come up for that one if Cavallagna has even thought about giving chase to it. Cardona can't keep it in play.
That's a great kick from Aviles. Not the first time tonight Aviles has shown some skills. Those kicks from the hand, very accurate with them. As he said, he's got good feet skills, Gavlas, but he hasn't really had the confidence yet to use them as much as he perhaps could. You see a substitute getting ready for the visitors.
Appears to be Alex Tejera getting ready to go. Another striking option. This ball gets retrieved back into play. Playing here at Paladin Stadium. Of course, the home of the Furman Paladins. We got fall season starting to brew in college. I talked to John Harkes and asked him if the incoming college season impacts them in their training in any way or their preparation. And he said they haven't really requested too much training at the stadium as of late. They've gotten used to the grounds, they're familiar with it. We've got an idea of the pitch now, and the guys are mentally locked in. That's what he said as Tejera getting ready to sub into this match for Siobhan Marsh. So Marsh will come out of the game, but not before scoring his 10th goal of the season.
It was a very composed finish from 12 yards out by Siobhan Marsh. Interesting substitution. Tejera, obviously a very different player to Siobhan Marsh. Certainly a very capable goal scorer.
Tenth goal of the season for Marsh, just the 10th appearance of the season for Tejera. Just getting back to health. Great to see him back out there. And he'd love to leave an impact on this one. Pilato to Walker. Walker going forward. Slides it, but it's off the mark for Labovitz. Tejera, one of the players who, returning from last season, a lot of turnover between that championship run team for Chattanooga and this season. He's one of the guys who was able to keep through.
This is his first appearance since early June. 4 starts early at that center forward spot. Goal against Omaha in that 3-3 draw.
What a game that was, and what a season it's been for Chattanooga. Scott McKenzie mentioned that it's a club that's had its major ups and downs recently, from making a run out of the championship to the adversity it's faced this year, both outside the game and in games, with how many points they've been able to win back from losing positions. He said, but they have a high morale right now, and they believe they've underperformed this year and they want to make it right. Went on to say that adversity can break you or can make you stronger, and obviously they're pushing for the latter. And as a result of everything that's taken place, it's a group that's pretty tight-knit. Look at that contact again.
Yeah, Devin Shaw was trying to get away with that one, sneakily cut across the back of Mensa. Toward his ankle.
Felipe. Another opportunity here. With the service inside, headed up by Shaw. Labovitz knocks it away. And this popped effort into the breadbasket of Rankenberg, but something he had to keep tabs on. That was a little awkward. It ends up being won back by Chattanooga. Felipe streaking down that right-hand side. Cardona. It's a good look. Felipe into the center. Lomas can't get onto it. Gomez finds Lomas. Lomas plays it out wide. Cardona has to track it down. And his sliding effort couldn't keep it in bounds. Labovitz, the second goal scorer of the day for Greenville. Talked about earlier how John Hartz just wants him to simplify the game. He plays better when he doesn't overanalyze, and he, much like every striker, is better when they're able to just play with a bit of a freeness.
Yeah, hopefully that goal propels him to a solid last quarter of the season. Greenville will need him. And Leo Castro, that combination hasn't quite worked out yet this season when they've played together.
Labovitz with Schultz trying to turn on the burners, but Hernandez puts on some speed and response. Now Aviles has to get that one out, and he does. Shaw loses it. Lomas winning it back. There's an example of him tracking back and making something happen. Cardona. Felipe, been an active member of this game. And will be called for the foul in this instance. Scott McKenzie looking to figure out what needs to be done to find an equalizing goal and perhaps a winning goal. They need points, and they need them quick. Got a couple substitutions readying for Greenville.
Not bad to have a couple of starters, normal starters coming off the bench. Yeah, Castro was a little ill over the weekend. It's a lovely ball.
Labovitz with a pop shot. Not on target. And now we're going to get two substitutions brought to you by Spinks. We've got Devin Boyce coming in for Lucas Coutinho, brought to you by Spinks. And then Leonardo Castro coming in, like for like, up top for Jacob Labovitz. Also brought to you by Spinks. That substitution for Castro to Labovitz will be our adjustment of the match, presented by Upstate Spine and Sport. Upstate Spine and Sport adjustment of the match, Leonardo Castro. Going to see this one through. Of course, the primary goal scorer for Greenville this season leads the team with 10 goals, which is tied for third with the likes of Emiliano Terzaghi, now Siobhan Marsh. Actually maybe fourth if we're going by the active count, because I believe Keziah Sterling has a brace in the other game, which puts him at 11 goals on the season.
He does. Pretty amazing considering the slow start he got up to with the injuries.
That is a player you don't want getting hot, if you're anyone other than Tormenta, of course.
Yeah, Tormenta with the win tonight, if they can hold on, would be 3 points off the playoffs. Certainly a team no one would want to be playing.
Greenville of all people,
yeah,
at least.
Yes, as they look to defend their title. Tormenta have beaten Greenville 9 times in their meetings.
Yeah, I hate to bring it up for these two fan bases, but Tormenta knocking out both these sides in the playoffs last season. So, both well aware of the horrors of Keziah Sterling in particular. That ball getting sandwiched between two heads there. Scuffling about there.
That was good advantage there, play by Austin Saney. Wait to see if Greenville would take anything more before coming back for that foul on Tevin Shaw.
Gavilanes trying to wind around Cardona. That one getting tangly.
Good work by Cardona.
Pilato. Still going. Pilato! It's a good save from Aviles. Moment there where the touch seemed too heavy from Noah Pilato, but no one closed in on him, so he's able to track it down.
That's what Carlos Aviles is saying. Like, it's accidental almost. The Chattanooga players were backpedaling, keeping an eye on Castro. He sucked in 3 defenders, and that opened things up for Pilato. Decent shot and a good save.
So we have PNC corners for kids for Greenville. Once again, Pilato and Gavilanes by the dead ball. Pilato with his hands in the air. Drives it in. And Aviles catches it with both hands. Getting impeded by Castro a little bit.
Castro with the veteran move there, just kind of shadowing Aviles.
This one headed forward. Rankenberg gets there in time. Thumps into his center back, but nothing too dangerous.
Well, softer than the first time that happened tonight with Evan Lee.
Here is Lee. Gavilanes turns. It's tugged down by Cardona. A little bit irritated with that transaction there.
Six total shots in the second half, 3 for each team. It's been a little quieter offensively. Teams combined for 17 shots in that first half. This referee has seen enough from Felipe.
And he will get the booking here. Third yellow card for Johnny Felipe. Just his 5th appearance.
It's his 6th foul committed on the evening. Finally adding up enough for a yellow. She got the ball straight through Gavilanes to do it. Perhaps a little harsh.
Now Hassan Gabo getting ready to come in. He'll replace Brandon Fricky.
This will be the most action Gabo's seen since his only start of the season back in April.
Yeah, we had the unfortunate assignment of dealing with Rafa Mensingen in that one.
He did. It was his first pro start and it looked it. Had some injury troubles this season. Hassan Gabo, his first as a pro, he replaced Brandon Fricky.
The substitution brought to you by Spinks. Another player who had to fight back from injury this season. Of course, that's about half of the roster for the Greenville Tribe this season. Luckily, that narrative is a little less prevalent, with the exception of Tyler Pollock. Some of these guys working through the damages of the season. Well, Scott McKenzie put it, you will be sore and you will play sore if you're a pro athlete. That's just the reality of it. Talking about his group, said that they want to play and they want to work hard. And although the schedule as it is right now is a grind, they're up for it. Are they up for finding an equalizing goal in this one? Interesting bounce on that ball. Seems surely going to go out with a spin, keeping it in play. Here's an opportunity. Hernandez couldn't quite bring that one down, though. It'll be out for a goal kick. Can't watch the match? Turn on Sirius XM FC 157, North America's only 24/7 source for engaging soccer talk, including USL All Access Tuesday nights at 7 Eastern. Plus hear live matches from the USL, MLS, English Premier League, and more, all on SiriusXM FC 157 in the SXM app. More adjustments on the way for Scott McKenzie's side. Devin Boyce applying some pressure. Castro. Him and Boyce, typical starters for Greenville. Trying to find Gavilanes there. That one will go over to a oohing Reedy River Riot.
Substitution for Chattanooga. Entering the match, number 99, Ernesto Espinoza.
So 2 more substitutions coming in for Chattanooga. Riley Kraft will come in for Pedro Hernandez. And Marius Lomas will not score against his former side, but Mo Espinoza will come in, returning to play after recovering from another injury.
I like these 2 substitutions here for Scott McKenzie, 2 guys that certainly have enough creative ability to turn a game around in a heartbeat.
Espinoza, an electrifying player last season for Chattanooga. Time ticking and ticking here for Chattanooga. Aviles gets that one away. Greenville applying the pressure right now. Forcing Chattanooga to be composed in possession.
See what Gabo's been brought in to do, just stop those crosses. Been plaguing Greenville all night.
You know, this one will come all the way to the final whistle when you're against the Chattanooga Red Wolves. Coach after coach making comments about just how much guts this team has. Especially right now fighting for Jimmy Weekly, who continues to recover and fight from his medical situation. Once again, we'll say it again here in the second half. We send our wishes to Jimmy Weekly.
The referee has issued a caution to Greenville.
Leonardo Castro getting a yellow card there for some unpleasant words to the head official. It's his 7th yellow of the season.
I'm going to assume he didn't agree with that goal kick call.
One thing I know about this team, Scott McKenzie said, is that these guys love Jimmy Weekly. Apparently he tries to send them a message before each game to give them a boost of encouragement, and it resonates.
He's come in obviously twice now as interim coach and had to try and rescue this team. Scott McKenzie, I know his wife's from Utah. Not sure. We had a chat whether she wanted to move to England. That was a no. Not sure if she wants to move to Chattanooga.
Chattanooga and Utah, definitely 2 different places.
Yes.
Aviles, the searching ball up the pitch. Gabo blasts this one forward. And I'll fall right by the dugout of the coaching staff of Greenville.
John Harks, we want a 3rd goal to put this one away. Chattanooga certainly aren't the cardiac kids they used to be over the last couple of years, but still capable of pulling a point out here late in this one. They've shown some dangerous play, especially down those wings. Chance here to get one into the mix-up.
Well, that's the one thing that's never mistaken about this Chattanooga team this year, despite their position in the table. Not a single team or coach that has scouted out this team has underestimated their capabilities. Felipe with the ball in. Ball still in the fray. Knocked out by, I believe, Tevin Shaw. Another cross comes in. No one's there for it but the keeper. fair. It would be folly to underestimate any of the teams in USL League One. Of course, a league known all too well for its parity.
And certainly the last couple of years, it's really gotten crazy. League standings not quite as bad this year as they were last year. Tight. This tightness talking about. Still plenty of time for some of these teams outside the playoffs to make a run. Torment, if they can hold on to that win tonight. They've looked at times like they were going to go on a run, and then they've had a couple of silly losses.
We're to the point where just about every team, I think every team actually, has single-digit games left. So we're getting into that final stretch as Boyce gets the ball by the defender but can't follow it. Gabo stepping up to it. Play will go on. It's Boyce. Over to Castro. Castro. Not sure if that was a shot or a cross. It kind of got stuck in no man's land between the two.
I think Boyce should have gone to the right. Yeah, Gavilanes wide open on his right. Watch it here in a second. Gavilanes had acres of space on the right side of the box. Went to Castro. Perhaps should have just smashed it with his left foot.
An opportunity missed for Greenville.
See if it comes back to haunt them. Too much overthinking there. John Marks talked about that. Just, you know, Castro, striker of such experience, you think he would have just smashed that one. See where it went. Get the clean sheet tonight, Gunther, but pretty solid. Had just the one little mistake with his feet earlier in this half that left some hearts and throats.
Certainly some learning moments, but nothing that they've been punished for so far, outside of, I guess you could say, Evan Lee got punished a little bit for it, but...
Yeah, and on the goal, I think he needs to learn to perhaps, you know, carry that away from the center of the goal. Try and catch it. What he had to do, he thought at the time. Siobhan Marsh just in the right place at the right time as well.
Keeping this one in play after it glexed off his teammate. We will escort this one out for a goal kick.
You mentioned Marius Lomas going off earlier. Didn't really have as much of an impact on this game as we thought he might. Final throw at things here. So Scott McKenzie.
Felipe will come out. Walefi will come in. Will be Walefi's 12th appearance. Correction, this will be his 22nd appearance.
Laffy, the all-time leader in appearances for Chattanooga by quite a margin. A couple more and you'll have 100.
We were talking before the game about the amount of players left who have spent all 5 seasons with the same club in USL League One. That list is shrinking and shrinking year by year. Well, Effie being one of them, though, that has been a Red Wolf the entire time. Of course, he's accompanied today by the likes of Aaron Walker, Evan Lee, and now Tyler Pollock's not playing, but Tyler Pollock, another guy.
He's not 30 yet, Walafi. It seems like he's been around forever. Solid defensive midfield presence. To try and create something here in these final few minutes and try and earn his team a point on the road. What a big point it would be. Been hanging around in this one. few more seconds off the clock.
Now chew the clock all the way to the 85-minute mark.
13 total touches for these two teams inside the opposition's boxes. Kind of tells you how the second half has gone. It's been a midfield battle. Your scoring summary in this one: Coutinho and Labovitz for the home team. Siobhan Marsh. All three players now off the pitch.
5 more minutes to go before we get to whatever amount of stoppage time we have left. This segment of the match brought to you by ScanSource, accelerating growth for partners and calling Greenville home for 30 years. Well, Ross, it's been 2 games in a row now that we've had 2 goals in the first half stoppage time here at Greenville. Against the Charlotte Independence, it was a Leonardo Castro brace, which flipped it from a Charlotte lead to a Greenville lead, and then in this one, it was a split of goals.
Greenville fans learning not to go to the bathroom early before that halftime break.
Gomez. Madrid. The outside of a boot. Gives it back. Tevin Shaw doing what he can to keep it in play. And Gabo ends up knocking it out. So Cardona will throw this one back in, and he's going to be told to backtrack a little bit. Greenville looking for their 10th win this season. Try to keep that cushion between them and the likes of Tormenta, Knoxville.
3 points would be huge here with Omaha coming up. Red Hot Omaha and then North Carolina FC in a couple of Saturdays. There's that Omaha game. 3 of the next 4 on the road for Greenville. Not terribly long road trips to Lexington, Knoxville, and Richmond. Still, wins on the road in this league are hard to come by.
Ball back to the top of the 18, and Walefi couldn't keep it down. That was Mikhail Williams.
A yellow card as well on the screen.
The referee has issued a caution to Greenville's number 14, Hassan Gabo.
So Hassan Gabo going to collect a yellow card. That's the one you pointed out, Ross. Now Chattanooga will push forward again with Kraft. Kraft taps out to his left. Ball popped inside. Kraft with the header! And it just bounces wide. So pleads that it grazed Evan Lee. Will not be appeased for Chattanooga.
Kraft started it off here. Got the ball back. Little running makes him drifted into space. Evan Lee was lucky not to get a touch on that because that could have ended up in the back of his own net.
Nice exchange there between Riley Kraft and Omar Gomez.
Spoke about late goals and halves. We've got a late goal and no code. Gets that in the center.
Castro in the corner. Play a bit of the camping game, and it appears he's won himself a corner kick.
Storm with a stoppage time equalizer at Tormenta.
Well, depending on how you look at it for Greenville, I think this is the best case scenario, a draw between the two, because you're trying to pass the Hailstorm and keep Tormenta at bay.
Only 1 point behind the Hailstorm.
PNC corners for kids here.
PNC corners for kids, taken by your Greenville Triumph.
Oh, easy. Referee side, he saw that from Castro. Not the kind of time to be Aviles with another 10-15 yards on
yeah.
Nowhere near where the foul was. And another couple. Now finally Austin Saney asking him to take it from the right spot, which is a good 15 yards back.
Should have taken the ground that was given to him. We're going to get 3 minutes of stoppage time brought to you by Engineered Sleep, the best handmade mattresses in town. Visit engineeredsleep.com for better sleep.
And Aviles just wasted probably 30. He keeps doing it. He keeps just throwing the ball out there. It's still 10 yards further than it should be. Silliness, pure silliness.
Silly is the only word for it, Ross.
Just wasted 30 seconds just for trying to get an extra 10 yards on a kick. I don't cost-benefit analysis failure there by Carlos Aviles.
And now Gunther Rankenberg will very similarly look to kill out the clock as he waltzes this one into play.
See if he gets a start against Saturday against Omaha. Jared Mazzola had a calf strain he'd been carrying for a while, just finally caught up with him in northern Colorado. Like to give it a little more rest perhaps. I think he's done well enough tonight to deserve another start.
John Harkes talking about Mazzola said he was very happy with Jared Mazzola making the call to get subbed out. He said that's tough for a young player that's trying to prove themselves that they can fight through injuries, and for someone who had just earned himself the starting spot this season. Meanwhile, Chattanooga coming forward the other way. Kraft drills it centrally, and it's knocked away by Jamie Smith. Talking about someone fighting through the pain.
Jamie Smith's had himself a game tonight.
Corner for Chattanooga.
Been all over the place. John Harkes was raving about his game awareness, and that was a key moment there. Intercept that potential scoring chance. Still another one perhaps coming though.
1 more minute to go. Mo Espinoza looking for his 4th assist of the season from this corner. Couldn't get by Schultz. Bolefi to Kraft. Back out to Espinoza. Gets the service in. It's headed away. And then Castro lost that one down the pitch. 30 more seconds. Aviles plays it up. It's headed away by Gabo, who is insistent that Cardona made contact with it. And a lackluster ball. Falls in the hands of Rankenberg, and he can nearly get this one down to 30, or 93, excuse me. That'll do it from Paladin Stadium. Another notch in the win column for the Greenville Triumph. Their 10th of the season. They get win number 2 on the year against the Chattanooga Red Wolves. And they keep clear of that playoff line.
It's a big 3 points for John Harkes' men.
See Lucas Coutinho.
Run now, only 2 losses in their last 14. That slow start, right back where they have been over the last few years in the thick of the playoff race.
See Coutinho and Mario Slomis there. He was the first goal scorer today, Lucas Coutinho. And he was followed by the likes of Jacob Blavovitz. And then Siobhan Marsh would put the game back into question. But a goalless second half means 3 points for the Triumph. And with that in mind, we'll step aside briefly. When we come back, we'll wrap this all up in a nice little bow and close it for you here on ESPN+.
Life is a winding road, no telling where it goes. Driving through days and nights, won't stop for traffic lights. And I really wanna know,
I need to try it first.
Whenever the Greenville Tramp score not 1, but 2 goals during any home game, fans score big with 10% off on all fresh, scratch-made food at Habitat. Just grab a table, show your game day ticket while wearing your Triumph gear. Don't forget, you can always come cheer on the team while watching the away games during our watch parties. Habitat, proud sponsor of the Greenville Triumph.
I need to try it first.
Welcome back to Paladin Stadium for closing thoughts here for this midweek match between the Greenville Triumph and the Chattanooga Red Wolves. Mark Schoenster alongside me, Ross Davenport, to give you everything in its closing moments. You see Jacob Labovitz, Lucas Coutinho, the 2 goal scorers for the winning side. Let's take a look at the highlights from this game, the high-flying plays of the match, brought to you by GSP International Airport. 26th minute, Lucas Coutinho with just a fantastic single effort.
It was a fun first half, 17 total shots. This was probably the best of the lot. Coutinho, the outside of his right foot, finds the top corner. Give the home team the lead.
Then, in stoppage time, once again, the stoppage time was all the intrigue here at Paladin Stadium. Pilato, Jamie Smith nearly getting the goal, but Labovitz is there to help him out.
Yeah, Pilato did all the hard work there on that little training ground set piece, but take the 2-goal lead to the half.
Opportunity here for Chattanooga. This wouldn't amount to anything, but Siobhan Marsh would make sure that it would result in a goal after the initial attack.
Third in as many games for Marsh. And to have Chattanooga try, this is probably their best chance of that second half. Riley Kraft with the glancing header that Evan Lee almost put in his own net, but it wasn't to be as Greenville would hold on for the 2-1 win. As you see there, 26 total shots. Things calmed down a little bit in the second half. Yeah, 3 points, 3 key points for Greenville, and they continue to push to the playoffs.
Those are the full-time stats brought to you by Coca-Cola, and now the standings brought to you by Hopkins Eye Center. So Northern Colorado getting the draw at the end of the game keeps them ahead of the Greenville Triumph, but it also means that South Georgia Tormenta do not keep nipping at their backs. Greenville do hop for Madison, though, whom will play over the weekend. John Harkes' side will stay at home and hosting Omaha for Pride Night. Meanwhile, Scott McKenzie's side will go home to play that same Tormenta side. But for tonight's match, our broadcasting crew, Ross Davenport, I'm Mark Schoenster, saying that we appreciate you tuning in on this Wednesday night. We hope you enjoyed yourselves like we did, and we hope you have a fantastic night. Take care.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League League One cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League League One.